Welcome, Libra and Libra cross watchers, to your monthly love reading. So I hope you guys have had a wonderful day. And of course, thank you for stopping by my channel today. So we're going to get the situation, what each of you is thinking and feeling about the other person, and then actions or intentions towards each other. So relationship situation is the moon reversed, your person's headspace, 10 of cups, Ace of Pentacles, and 7 of... What? Okay. Hanged Man for you. 8 of Swords. And Libra's actions or intentions. So we do have the 5 of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. Your actions or intentions. Wow. We have the Chariot, Star, and Emperor. So, Libra. It feels a little bit like you're waiting for someone here, but let me flesh that out, okay? It doesn't mean that you're sitting around waiting for somebody else to make a decision for you. It's not like that. It feels more like you are... It almost feels like your energy is someone's come up to you and you know that they have an important question to ask you. And it's like they're kind of stumbling over it and they don't know how to ask it. And they're just kind of like, you know, almost a little bit sheepish, looking down at their shoes. And I feel like you're just kind of waiting patiently to let them say what they're going to say because you can see that it's making them uncomfortable. It's that type of an energy. I feel like we're gonna talk about your person first because it kind of feels like your energy here is kind of a reaction to what's going on with this person. So the 10 of Cups for what's in their headspace, of course, the 10 of Cups, sorry, I'm just moving on my chair, talks about, you know, emotional fulfillment and that sort of thing. But in this deck specifically, it's a family that's out in the rain, right? So it's, I feel like this is the type of person that walks into situations assuming that things are going to fail. Or it's almost like if they have failed in the past, in past relationships, then I feel like part of them is looking at this situation like with that same negativity, kind of looking at it through that same lens. What's interesting is that their heart seems to be pushing this forward. I feel like whatever's going on in their heart space, it's almost like it's overshadowing whatever's going on in their head. I mean, look at the different energy in these cards, right? The Ace of Pentacles talks about an opportunity. It doesn't necessarily mean that anything has started or is moving yet. It means that there's potential, right? And people have to take advantage of opportunities or potentials that kind of cross their path. It just feels... Okay, what's this? Hold on. We're going to pull a... Yeah, this one. What's their person ignoring? What are they not paying attention to? Oh, look, we have the Emperor at the bottom of the deck again. I feel like just before I flip these cards over, with this Emperor here twice, and the question was, what are they not paying attention to? It's almost like this person doesn't want to see your potential. It feels like the kind of energy where it's like they don't want to reach for you and see you as they see you. It's almost like it would be too difficult to see this as a real opportunity, because I feel like if it was a real opportunity and I don't know if this is making sense. If it was really what they wanted and they failed at that, I feel like they're kind of in a headspace where they kind of can't take it. You know what I mean? So it's like it's easier for them to look at this situation like, I almost want to say like it's not that big of a deal. it's like they're kind of poo-pooing the situation away before anything even happens as like a defense mechanism. Oh, so what are they not seeing? We have the Three of Swords and the Sun both reversed. So, of course, the Three of Swords talks about heartbreak, and the Sun talks about illumination or happiness. It's almost like this person sees an opportunity to be happy, but because they never saw themselves as being happy, it's almost like they're intentionally ignoring something that would actually be really good for them. And it's not because they think they're better than anybody or anything. It's fear, right? That's what's holding them back. It's almost the energy of somebody that would like nothing more than to move forward on the opportunity that's in front of them. But it's almost like they feel that their heart can't take another hit, you know? I feel like this person also doesn't really want to see. It's almost the energy of someone that may not be the actual situation, but like they're actually so far removed from the last heartbreak that I feel like they don't want to see that it doesn't play a part anymore. You know what I mean? It's almost like they're so used to living in the energy of being afraid that it'll happen again or this or that they actually don't realize that it doesn't bother them anymore if they really looked at it. You know what I mean? It's almost like this person is choosing to live in fear because it's easier than not. I think we're going to get one more card for your person. Sorry. Yeah. You know what's interesting? I feel like this person sees themselves. Like it's not like they don't have a healthy level of self-confidence or self-respect, but it's almost that energy of somebody that sees themselves as someone that is single. So if ever you've seen that I don't know if it's a documentary, but that movie on Netflix called The Secret about the law of attraction. There's one part where this woman is talking to somebody who wants to find the love of his life. And she went in his home and he had paintings all over the wall of women who were had their back to him but were looking over their shoulder like, oh, I don't like you. I don't want you. You know what I mean? Like very cool and almost dejected. And she said to him that he should probably pick some different pictures, like where did all of those come from? And she's like, and he said that he painted them. And she's like, oh my gosh, that's even worse. She's like, so I want you to paint pictures and put them around your home of you living the life that you want to live, right? So it's like if this person keeps seeing themselves, maybe not as someone that's, not worth anything, but as someone that is single, it's like they kind of have to challenge the belief system that they have about who they are in order for them to move into what it is that they actually want and is also available to them. So, anyway, I'm starting to catch an attitude. Sorry, guys. So we have the Hanged Man here for what's in your headspace, and that usually talks about kind of getting a different perspective. I feel like part of you has kind of, that energy of like, oh, it's out of my hands. Like you're just kind of giving it into, if you believe in God or whatever higher power, just kind of handing it over to someone, to that higher power. I feel like it's, hold on for a second. There seems to be a couple of things here that are the Page of Pentacles and the Six of Cups. It's just got this energy of like, I feel like you have a couple of things you have to sort out as well. I'm not going to lie. And I feel like you are, I might be calling you out a little bit here. So it's either that there are things about this person that mirror some of the things that you're doing that may be worth looking at. Alternatively, it actually feels like this situation reminds you of something in the past that that kind of slipped through your fingers as well. And I feel like there's this kind of like hands off attitude that you have, at least in your headspace, that it's almost like, well, is this just another lesson? Am I supposed to learn something from this? You know what I mean? It's like in your headspace anyway. I feel like you are wondering what the heck is the point anyway? Like what is the point of all of this? You know what I mean? Um, oops. I feel like when you get into that energy, there does seem to be some sorrow on your end about this whole thing here. I feel like whatever it was in the past that kind of slipped through your fingers that left you almost feeling like a little hamstrung, if that makes sense. Um, it's almost like we've talked about why this person is kind of held back. I feel like you're being held back kind of for a similar reason, but not. It feels like you're over here remembering that you never quite expected things to work out the way that you wanted them to, right? So it's that same kind of like, I feel like it's to a lesser degree. I'm going to be honest. Okay. I feel like you're able to see this, whereas this person kind of doesn't really want to admit it to themselves. Um, I'm also feeling that you're, there seems to be something here about like feeling like if you had gotten to this person earlier or if you had been able to meet them earlier, things would have been different. It's almost like someone got in there and kind of ruined your chance before you met them type deal. Is a interesting dynamic here. Because the Eight of Swords, for what's in your heart space, the Eight of Swords usually talks about being held up by your own kind of negative thoughts and beliefs about yourself. But in this deck, there's another person there that's kind of escorting this person over there, right? So it kind of feels like um, I feel a little bit that you might see this person as more similar to you than even they realize. I feel like you may see them as somebody that almost has this like idealized view of you, not realizing the truth about you. And not that like, oh, you're this terrible person, but more that like, um, it's almost like that you're not the perfect person that they have painted in their mind of you. You know what I'm saying? It's like you kind of want them to come back down to reality and see you as a human rather than the idealized version of you. And it definitely feels like you weren't given a fair shot from your perspective anyway. I want to say, I feel like no matter what I say, you're not really kind of done. It's not necessarily that you're sitting around waiting for anybody. It just feels like you're not done pulling apart the situation, trying to figure out what's going on, trying to make heads or tails of it. If that makes sense. Now this is some bigger energy here, right? With the Chariot, the Star, and the Emperor, all for your intentions. You know, the Chariot is, as the story goes, or as tarot goes, it's actually supposed to be the Emperor that's in that chariot, right? That talks about discipline and determination and pushing through things, right? And then, of course, the Star talks about, that is the Aquarius card, talks about healing, renewal, and that kind of new beginning. It feels like you've been having this like transformation over here. I feel like you want to show them something. but it's almost like, but you don't want to push them. I hope this is making sense. I'm not really sure I'm connecting very well with this read, so I apologize if it doesn't make sense. It feels like you see how this can work out, and I feel like this person is seeing how it can't. And it's not like, oh, they don't want you, and it's just that's their outlook on it, right? Because they have so much fear around all this sort of stuff. Whereas you're over here kind of seeing that things can be different than they are. I hope that makes sense. So, I think we're going to pull a card for what you can expect this month. I'm just looking at which deck we're going to use. What can Libra expect? So we have the Seven of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. It's quite a few cards. And they're all reversed. We have the Emperor again. So we have the Seven of Wands, Ace of Wands, what is that? Six of Swords, and the Emperor. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not sure much is going to change. I kind of feel like you might not want to hear this, okay? But I kind of see you just looking at this situation, you know, same thing that the cards were going back to what they were saying before, where you're kind of waiting for someone to say something that's clearly making them uncomfortable, right? It's like you're still in that type of energy. You're not being defensive. You're not trying to push anything forward. But you're also not here to fix anybody, right? And it's not the cards telling you that. That's what I'm seeing happen. Right? It's like you don't mind being a champion for someone if that's what they need. But you're also not going to run around trying to save people. It feels like there's some sort of pressure that keeps kind of building around this person. It's almost like it keeps kind of expanding and pushing up against them. And what's really interesting is that it's not pressure in like a negative way. I feel like it's some sort of energy that's trying to get them to take their hands off their eyes and actually look at you instead of being worried. I almost said that like that they can't offer it to you, that they have some sort of like inferiority complex, but they don't. It's almost the energy of somebody that in the past didn't have much to offer people, and they went back to the drawing board and they built themselves up to where they do, but they still don't see themselves that way. It's almost like this is somebody that dealt with that had people around them that kind of like downplayed their achievements or downplayed what they had to offer and made them feel like what they had wasn't worth anything. And I feel like, and there's that insecurity that's there. I kind of feel like they know that if they would just kind of open their eyes and take their hands off their eyes and stop hiding, that they would actually be very well received. And it doesn't feel necessarily that it's like there's any desperation or anything like that on your end. I feel like you kind of giving them the time is more a kindness than, than pity or desperation. It's nothing like that. It feels like you're just being kind to them right now. So I think I'll leave it there, Libra. If this reading resonated, I hope it was helpful. I hope it did bring at least a little bit of clarity. If you like this reading, please like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you on the next one. Much love. Bye.